Today we're going to be talking about legal and ethical constraints in the media today. I would like to start off with the BBFC. They are a regulatory body that gives certification and warnings on films, such as Harry Potter would be a PG, as it is based more towards kids, but the parents are advised to go with them, as there can be graphical scenes or scenes that are preferred to be viewed by adults before children. Ethical constraints are moral principles that define how a person or group acts. Their ethical issues in TV producers are affected by including trust, liability, truth, privacy, serving the public interest, and many more. What is a constraint? A constraint is a limitation or restriction on something to prevent something else from happening in the media industry, such as if you copyrighted your work, no one else could take that because it is your own. If someone was to take that work, you'd be able to take a lawsuit against them. Copyright and trademarks applies to work that is recorded in some way. Rights exist, such as literary, artist, musical and dramatic work, as well as films. Sound recordings and typographical arrangements. It gives the author specific rights in relation to the work, prohibits unauthorized, and allows the author to take legal action against instances or infringement or plagiarism. Trademarks are registered at a national or territory level with an appropriate government body and may be identified by the abbreviation TM or the R symbol. Intellectual property law refers to creations of the mind, inventions, literary and artistic works, symbols, names, images and designs used in commerce. It is divided into two categories: industrial property, which includes inventions, trademarks, industrial designs and geographical indications. Copyright, which includes literary and artistic works such as novels, poems and plays, films, musical works. Artistic works such as drawings, paintings, photographs, sculptures and architectural designs. Rights relate to the copyright law, including those of performing arts and their performances, producers of phonograms and their recordings, and those of broadcasters, radio, TV and broadcasts. Another legal infringement would be privacy. Privacy is a legal constraint. We will respect privacy and we will not infringe it without good reason. Whether in the world we are operating private behaviour, information, correspondence and conversation will not be brought into the public domain unless there is a public interest that outweighs the expectation of privacy. The outweighs of expectation of privacy. The BBC must balance the public interest in freedom of expression, the legitimate expectation of privacy by individuals. Any infringement of a legitimate expectation of privacy and the gathering of material including secret recording and doorstepping must be justifiable as proportionate in the particular circumstance of the case. It must balance the public interest in full and accurate reporting of stories involving human suffering and distress with individuals' privacy and respect for human dignity. This includes privacy and consent from contributors, using sources appropriately and only using secret recordings when in the public's best interest. So what it's saying basically is you have to have permission from a certain person, and you have to be, otherwise there has to be a very valid reason why you are interrupting their privacy. If not, then there can be legal issues involved because you've just taken information about them and placed it out so everyone can read them and find out about them. Ethical issues. Rather than legal constraints, ethical issues are based on judgment. They are what society deems as morally acceptable. If something is seen as ethically wrong, then it is investigated to see if it is breaking any laws, such as the Obscene Publications Act. If it is not in violation of any of these laws, then it comes under ethical issues. This means that no law has been broken, however, public may see it as offensive or controversial. Many ethical concerns are raised by groups of specific people. These groups may find the publication offensive due to how the minority are represented. Ethical issues which come into media production things, such as protecting under 18s, representation of age, genre, race, disability and religion. You have the use of the record information. You have the power to influence public opinion, interviewing vulnerable people or children, intruding on individuals' privacy, or anything that else could cause offence or harm to someone's health. An example of something within the media which has raised ethical concerns would be the BBC incident Sasha Gates. It involved Jonathan Ross and Russell Brand calling an actor by the name Andrew Shots, I think his name's pronounced, and verbally abusing him. Upon the release of the show, 2 people complained. This caused a domino effect which eventually resulted in 38,000 complaints. Although they did not break any laws and they raised many ethical concerns, this was based on people's own moral judgment, mainly due to the fact that it seemed unnecessary due to the age of the actor, and it caused such a stir the BBC had to take action to please the public. As a result of the event, both radio presenter got suspended without pay and many other concerns were raised by this incident. This is because the show was pre-recorded, which means it would have had to go through the BBC producers first. Due to this, there is a lot of argument over whose fault it was. Another example would be a similar incident involving comedian Frankie Boyle on a show which featured Mock of the Week. Made an offensive joke. This joke was an insult to Olympic winner Rebecca Adlington. He stated the thing nobody really said about Rebecca Adlington is that she looked pretty weird. She looks like someone who looking at themselves in the back of a spoon. Due to this unnecessary insult, it sparked much controversy against the comedian. As a result, it was banned from the week. He was banned from the show Mock of the Week.